Hi, this is Vicki from Learning Home Volunteers, and welcome back to Pirate Learning. Yo ho ho, and ho hoy there, hearties. Did your ship sail? Did she catch the wind and go fast? I hope so. This week we're going to actually hide our treasure. You ready to get started? This is activity number 8, make a map. Well, we certainly want to hide our treasure someplace safe, but we want to be able to find it later. And pirates actually use maps to remember where they hid their treasure. They would take a look at what was around and put it on the map, and then put an X on the map where they buried their treasure chest. And in your box, you're going to find a grocery bag, which you can actually turn into two maps or one really big map. The child can actually create a ragged edge for the map, like this one here, by actually simply tearing paper. Tearing paper is a great way to work on the strength for their hands to help them get ready for writing. If you want to give your little ones an important job while still helping them with their hands, have them tear up your junk mail for you and put it in the garbage. To start with mapping, you should, well, obviously hide the chest. And then we want to draw a map of the room and explain what each of the things that you put into the room, like this one. This map, I see two couches, see one here and one here. And I see a TV in the middle. And then I see they've hidden the treasure over here next to a chair with an ottoman on it. Maps are a great way for children to develop an understanding of their place in the world, where they live, what their community looks like, what their neighborhood looks like. And it also really helps us with strengthening their spatial reasoning skills. It'll help them learn to take directions, find your way by going here and there, and obviously navigating their surroundings. Now, there are actually lots of different kinds of maps, and as they get more sophisticated, you can begin to use what they call a grid map, which is to use a grid to describe where something is. For example, this ship here is in grid A4. And these are really fun to create with kids. I did an Easter egg hunt using a grid map so that they could actually find their eggs by using the pictures on the map. Well, pirates sailed on the sea. They didn't have very much fresh food, so they needed to bring food that wouldn't spoil. And this is activity number 9, eat like a pirate. So they dried their food, and we're going to try some of that food and even make some of it that pirates would have eaten. Let's start with jerky. Jerky is actually strips of meat which have been dried out to prevent spoilage. To eat the meat, they wouldn't actually cook it, but just eat it like what we've provided. So tell me, matey, is the jerky good? Something you want again? Another food they brought with them is called hardtack, and actually, it is made of flour, water, and salt, and it's actually a really dense cracker, a baby, like a size of a book kind of cracker as a ration. It lasts a really long time, and we're going to actually make some. And when they're done, they'll look like this here on the side. And to start, what we need to do is to preheat our oven to 250 degrees. You're going to need a cookie sheet, a bowl, and a quarter cup to a half a cup of water. Our first step is to take the flour mixture, which is labeled number 9, in your box, and put it in the bowl. And then slowly we're going to add water and mix the flour and water together with our hands. Add as little water as possible to get the dough to form. We want it to come together with not much moisture. It'll look like this when it comes together, and once the dough has come together, we can flour a surface, and then we can actually roll it out. We want to roll out the dough until it's about a quarter inch thick, and then trim the edges off like this so you end up with a rectangle or a square. And then you want to cut that piece into squares. These will be our biscuits, our hardtack biscuits. You want to put those squares onto the foil, and then using a knife, whatever, a skewer is really great. You can poke holes into that square, and then take that foil, which contains now all of the hardtack squares, and put it on your cookie sheet. That way they won't get your cookie sheet messy. We need to bake them for about 4 hours, turning them once about halfway through. Once they're done with their 4 hours, take them to cool. Once they're cool, they'll be very, very hard. You should try them. Pirates actually dip them in tea to help soften them, to allow them to eat them because they were so hard you could barely break them with your teeth. You can try the same thing. We used milk here in my house. That worked okay. My daughter used some water. That worked okay. Whatever you like. I can't wait to hear what you guys think of this hardtack. And if you want to be a pirate when you grow up, based on what they feed you. uh, this is activity number 11. And no, I didn't forget activity number 10. We actually recorded it separately, and Camilla is demonstrating the yoga for all of you, both in English and Spanish. So in activity number 11, in your box, you're going to find a bag with a game board and a colored dice. So using one of the jewels that you got for your treasure, you can use it as a marker for each person. To play the game, we roll the dice, and if the dice shows us a blue, green, red, or yellow, we move it to our token to the next square of that color. If we don't get one of those colors, then what we do is move it to the next object, either the telescope or the parrot, whichever is closer. The game is over when we reach the treasure, of course. And we hope that you'll play the game with your family. Games teach such important social lessons. It teaches the child how to focus their attention, to take turns, to play with other people, and did I mention patience? And then obviously most of our games are sharpening academic skills like color recognition. I like starting with the little ones by playing cooperative games at first, which is we all win when achieving a common goal, like all of us getting to the treasure. There's plenty of time later for competitive games and lots of learning about competitive games like winning and losing, which are important too. Well, we hope that you have enjoyed our pirate exploration and the great books that went with it in the learning session. Our next session is our birthday celebration. Learning Home volunteers will be 3 years this year, and we're calling the learning session 3 is Best. See you then.